I never really believed in the supernatural and never experienced anything in my 58 years to alter that perception. Until I had been driving home solo for 11 hours late November and was 25 minutes away, traveling Highway 371 on the Navajo Nation. There was no moon, extremely dark. It was around 9 p.m. and cold, 25 degrees. I cracked the window on my Chrysler 300C and attempted to throw a lit cigarette butt out the window. I know, not good. I'll address it later. Though maybe it had been deflected into the back seat. I stopped randomly at the side of the road to investigate. I heard ticking from the engine. It seemed okay after 11 hours of driving. I had heard this coming from an engine before in cold weather. I got out and opened the driver's back door, leaned in to find the butt, but never did. I realized that the ticking was actually coming from the trunk, and it was getting louder. Weird. So I went to the trunk to investigate. Now, at the trunk, I realized that the sound was more than a tick. It was actually coming from a field across the 2-lane highway. I peered into the darkness, and yes, it was definitely coming from the other side of the road. At the same time, I realized it was getting much louder, becoming complex like a composition. I could see the 4-foot-tall foliage at the edge of the road, but not much beyond. I strained to see what it was and started to actively listen. The changing nature of the rhythm was incredibly intricate and structured, and at this point very loud. I can't stress enough how it seemed to be an amazingly intricate work. This was not anything that nature could produce. As a musician, and well versed in many instruments, my impression was that there was someone out in the field, not too distant, that had set up an entire set of timpanis in a dark field just beyond my view. I realize that this is completely ridiculous, but that's exactly what it sounded like. Grasping how incredibly absurd and surreal this was, I got spooked, seriously spooked. I should mention that the entire time I was stopped for about 5 minutes, there was no traffic whatsoever. I panicked. I jumped into the driver's seat and I hightailed my way home, looking over my shoulder. Much later, after discussing this with my friends, the common response was that I was exhausted and hallucinating after many hours on the road. This was true. I was tired, and I recalled that in my youth, I had mistaken smoke pouring out of a power station at a distance as being the Goodyear blimp after similar hours of driving. The weird thing is that no vision was involved. Another person suggested I was hearing the sounds of a pump jack operating. There is one along the route, but I later determined that it was much nearer turnoff from the Burman exit, miles from where I was. Most people simply urged me to be quiet about it and that I was stupid. Afterwards, I continued to drive that route for work, always curious to find the spot that I had seen that thing in the darkness. That area was flat for many miles, so I could never pinpoint it. From that point on, I avoided that road after dark. So what I think actually happened? The spirits were mad that I was littering, that I decided to throw my cigarette out the window. Some of you will dismiss this. I get it. I would too. But I will never forget this unexpected incident of what I now refer to as the drums along the Bisti.
That's the end of the video. Hope I made your day just a little bit better. Love you. Bye.